2025, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and members. I'd like to begin by accepting the committee's technical amendments regarding implementation date. AB 2025 will amend the Barbering and Cosmetology Act to improve language access and knowledge of labor rights for both salon owners and licensed workers. After a two-part New York Times series on nail salons was published last year, we held informational hearings about the topic of labor and health issues in nail salons here in California. One of the most widely agreed upon problems discussed at those hearings was lack of information and misinformation about worker rights in salons. The good news is that there's something we can easily address without putting a burden on good actors in the salon community. We all know that California has many strong labor standards, but part of enforcing those laws is making sure that workers know their rights and that business owners are aware of obligations to their workers and in their business. Sorry. We also know that there are cultural and language barriers that contribute to the lack of information, misinformation, and fewer violation reports than we may expect based on informal reports. AB 2025 ensures knowledge of basic labor laws for owners by using an existing establishment license application. In effect, the application will provide information to these laws, ask questions, and require a signature of acknowledgement from the applicant owner. AB 2025 will also require that the curriculum for all licensed professionals include workers' rights as a subject area. As for the language access, AB 2025 requires that all written materials for workers and owners by the BBC be offered or made available in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And finally, this bill also requires that the establishment application ask optional questions about written language preference so the BBC can begin collecting better demographic information about the business it serves. With me today in support of the bill is Catherine Porter from our sponsoring organization, the California Healthy Nail Salon Collaborative, and Vân Nguyen, a salon owner in San Francisco.
Thank you. Please, testimony and support.
Yes. Hello? Okay. Good morning, Chairman Salas and committee members. I am Catherine Porter, Policy Director with the California Healthy Nail Salon Collaborative. The California Healthy Nail Salon Collaborative is a coalition of environmental health and justice and worker rights organization and individual nail salon workers and owners. Through community leadership events and trainings, policy advocacy, and other activities, we work to improve the occupational safety and health and other rights for this predominantly immigrant women workforce. Many in the nail salon industry, workers and owners, are Vietnamese speaking. We firmly believe that fairness and labor law compliance are critical parts of ensuring occupational safety and health for any worker community, including those who provide services in BBC licensed businesses. In its goal to ensure labor law compliance in the salon industry, AB 2025 is informed by the adage, knowledge is power. In a labor law forum in Los Angeles in 2015, many nail salon owners expressed a genuine desire for information to better understand the laws that regulate the workplace in California. That's why we support and are sponsoring 2025. 2025 ensures that BBC licensed technicians will know their workers' rights and be better able to report infractions through a required section on labor law in the cosmetology curriculum. BBC licensed establishment owners will better understand and be held accountable for complying with labor laws through Vietnamese translated materials developed by the BBC in consultation with Department of Industrial Relations and through questions on the license renewal application. The issue of labor law compliance in nail salons has received much attention in the media in California and across the nation. AB 2025 is an important step in ensuring that nail salon workers and other beauty professionals in California have the information they need to advocate for their rights with their employers, and in ensuring that owners are not in the dark as far as their labor law obligations to their salon staff. We ask that you vote yes on AB 2025.
Please, additional testimony and support.
Xin chào quý vị, tôi tên là Vân Nguyễn. Tôi cùng anh Triết chồng tôi từ Việt Nam di cư đến Hoa Kỳ năm 2000 và trở thành chủ nhân Mỹ viện móng tay New York Nail từ năm 2003. Hy vọng có cuộc sống tốt đẹp hơn. Chúng tôi rất vui được dự định cư ở xứ sở này tại tiểu bang California và tin rằng làm việc theo luật pháp về mặt dành quyền lợi cho nhân viên là điều quan trọng.
Good morning to all of you. My name is Vinh Nguyen. I immigrated to United States from Vietnam with my husband Chiết in 2000. I own a New York nail salon since 2003. My husband and I came here with the dream of a better life. I am glad to be in this country and in the state of California and believe it is important to follow the laws regarding worker rights.
Các nhân viên làm việc tại Mỹ viện rất quan trọng đối với tôi vì họ giúp cho tiệm thành công, nên tôi vẫn luôn cố gắng để hiểu biết mà làm theo đúng luật. Nhưng đôi khi có khó khăn như tôi tìm biết được thông tin đúng về luật lao động và khó mà thấy rằng mình hiểu biết được mọi điều luật cho đúng.
The people who work at my salon are very important to me and the success of my business. I make sure to always try to stay informed, but sometimes it is hard to find correct information or feel like you know all the right laws.
Đó là lý do tôi ủng hộ luật AB 2025. Cùng điểm nhấn mạnh của dự luật này là cần phải cho chủ tiệm các mỹ viện móng tay học hỏi về trách nhiệm của họ đối với nhân viên. Tôi cũng xin cảm ơn BBC tức Bo sẽ cho dịch tất cả các tài liệu ra tiếng Việt, giúp cho chủ nhân mỹ viện nail nói tiếng Việt như tôi, cũng như nhân viên nghề nail hiểu được và tuân thủ theo luật pháp của California. Phần lớn chúng tôi đều muốn cư xử đúng với nhân viên của mình và dự luật AB 2025 sẽ giúp chúng tôi làm được điều này. Xin hãy bỏ phiếu cho AB 2025. Xin cảm ơn quý vị.
That's why I support AB 2025 and its emphasis on the need of education salon owners, on our responsibility to our worker. I also appreciate that the BBC will translate all their material into Vietnamese. This will help Vietnamese-speaking salon owners like me and workers understand the labor laws of California and comply with the law. Most nail salon owners want to do the right thing for the people that work for them. AB 2025 will help them to do that.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony and support. Let me take a pause real quick so we can establish quorum. To Ms. Campos. Okay. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Salas.
Present.
Bro.
Here.
Baker. Here. Bloom. Campos. Here. Chavez. Daly. Dodd. Here. Eggman. Gatto. Here. Gomez. Holden. Jones. Here. Mullen. Ting. Wood.
Okay, we have a quorum. Let's go ahead and continue with testimony and support. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Mitch Seaman with the California Labor Federation, also in strong support. This afternoon in Assembly Sub 4, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about how to enforce both wage and hour laws and worker health and safety laws. And we'll get into the weeds of how expensive it is, how many inspectors we need, and how the process all works. And while we very much support that process and think it should be strengthened, obviously, the best thing that we can do is prevent those issues from ever reaching those agencies in the first place, whether it's through a Cal OSHA citation or through a wage and hour claim. The best thing that we can do is just expand the available information that's out there so that employers that do want to do the right thing know how to do that, both in the arenas of wage and hour and health and safety. And we think this bill is a huge step in the right direction to help make sure that happens, and we urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Fred Jones with the Professional Beauty Federation of California. We do not have an official position yet, but we are in support of both the intent and the direction of this bill. We actually believe this legislation of the various bills related to the nail salon sector strikes the best balance. We are working with the author's office as well as the State Board of Barbering and Cosmetology to make sure that our employees, which I represent, are protected, but also our salon owners understand what their obligations are and aren't overly burdensome, which I also represent our salon owners. So I anticipate coming in support, but there are some issues we are working with the author's office on and look forward to, as this bill progresses, continue to work with him. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your comments and your support to it, your intent.
Tôi tên Chiết Đăng, chủ một tiệm nail ở San Francisco. Hôm nay tôi đến đây tôi xin ủng hộ dự luật AB 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ji Dang. I'm the owner of the one of nail salon located in San Francisco. I'm here today to support AB 2025.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I have trouble in my neck. And you would talk for me, please. Yes.
My name is Hiệp Nguyen. My daughter owns three nail salons in Marin County. I'm here to support 2025 today.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Additional testimony and support. Hearing and seeing none, let me ask if there is testimony in opposition.
Yeah, I forgot. Can I say?
Testimony and support, please.
Yeah, my name is Vin Lu. I'm the representative of California Healthy Nail Salon Collaborative. I too support 2025.
All right. Thank you, and thank you for your translations as well. Testimony in opposition. Hearing and seeing none, let me turn it to members on the dais for questions. Hearing and seeing. Okay, so let's move to Assemblymember Jones.
Thank you. Ms. Gonzalez, I kind of am moving in the direction of supporting the concept. The one concern that I have is, DCA, this committee, we're dealing with licensure issues, not labor law.
Mm-hmm.
The folks that are going to these schools to get their license in barbering and cosmetology are going to get their barbering and cosmetology licenses. They're not going to become labor experts.
Sure.
So the concern that I have is, holding up their applications to become a licensed barber or cosmetologist if they don't get the labor law aspect of it handled properly, or they don't answer properly, or they fail that part of the
Right.
licensing requirement. So can you speak to that a little bit?
And this really, and I think you will agree, probably the most balanced labor bill I could come up with. I've been working closely with Senator Nguyen in the Senate. It's a bipartisan bill. She represents, I think, the largest number of nail salon owners. And we really came up with a way in which the people that have to answer the question are the nail salon owners. What we found, and what she found in particular, speaking the native language of Vietnamese, is people want to do the right thing, but nobody really, it's not very clear what the right thing is. And really what's happening is the difference between some things like classifying people as independent contractors versus employees. In the cosmetology scene, there are some independent contractors. Hairdressers, for example, are often independent contractors. They make their own appointments. They have their own equipment. And so there's like this assumption that they can pay things in a certain way, and there's no other way we can find to help inform folks in their native language what the rules and responsibility are. On the other hand, the workers themselves are coming from countries that don't have the same kind of rights. So a lot of times what we saw in the New York Times story was just things that you could never imagine happening in this country. They were paying to be able to learn their trade, basically, at the nail salon, and being paid far less than minimum wage. There's a confusion about whether salon owners can keep the tips. There's just a lot of confusions that aren't clear. So we decided this was the best approach to be able to reach both salon owners and workers in a way that's non-threatening. They need to know these laws anyway. These laws are strict liability. If you're violating labor laws, wage and hour laws, it doesn't matter whether you've acknowledged that you know them or not, you can be held liable. What we're trying to do is get in front of the salon owner and say these are the laws, so that at least they can inform themselves in their native language about what they should be doing. So we could think of no better way to reach them, and we've been working closely with the Barber and Cosmetology Board to do this, because they also think that this is an effective way to be able to reach both the salon owners and the workers without putting, it's not going to be, they're not going to have Labor 101. This is about knowing basic rules and responsibilities.
One of the witnesses testified that there's still some work to be done on the bill. Are you still kind of working out some minor things, or are you pretty much locked into what you got here?
I am always open to working some things out. If you've ever worked with Senator Nguyen, she's forced me to work a lot of things out, and we're still working on those. I think she's happy with the bill, so we'll sit down both with people who have concerns and the senator and try to come up with something that everybody can agree on. But this language has now been agreed upon by a number of other folks.
Thank you.
This is as soft as I can come with a labor.
I get it. Is this double referred, or where does it go from here?
It goes to appropriations from here.
Okay, I'm going to lay off for today, and then I'll see it in our probes again, and then maybe be able to get on board then.
Well, Mr. Jones, with your opening statement, I was hoping you were going to move the bill. Ms. Campos, who I know has actually attended some of the hearings as well, where this bill kind of originated from. So, Ms. Campos, please.
Well, I will move the bill, and hopefully we'll get a second. And I just want to thank you for that opening remark. I did serve on the committee that actually heard this dialogue, and Senator Nguyen brought a valuable dialogue to the conversation. And Ms. Gonzalez, I want to commend you for taking the lead on this. You did your homework. You had a forum where we were able to hear a discussion also from individuals that own salons, as well as individuals that thought there was movement that we needed to address this. So with that, I'm happy to move it and encourage that we're finally bringing this industry in the light of a discussion and creating a bill that hopefully will move forward and be signed into law. Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblymember Dowley.
I would just echo the comments of my colleague. I would second the bill. I think this is a move in the right direction. There's a lot of abuse out there, and we've seen that not only here in California but nationwide, and I applaud you for bringing this bill forward.
All right, Mr. Breaux.
Ms. Gonzalez, I just want to let you know that I support the concept of the bill. The issue with the questionnaire as part of the licensure is the reason I'll be abstaining today. But hopefully you'll take that into consideration as we move forward. But I do think there is a need here. I see a lot of these in my district. And with all the things going on with human trafficking and stuff, thank you for bringing this bill forward.
Okay, additional comments from the dais and members. Hearing and seeing none. Ms. Gonzalez, thank you for taking the committee amendments. I do see this as a transparency measure. This does receive the recommendation of the chair. If you'd like to close.
I just want to understand, and I think I got two questions on the question and answer segment that we're asking salon owners. And I want to point out this was in a very lengthy dialogue with both owners and workers and advocates. And the reason we went that route is any of us know, especially if you've ever dealt with paperwork from the state, how much paperwork you get. The question and answer feature wasn't meant to keep anyone from getting a license. In fact, if you answer the questions wrong, all you get is it sent back to you to answer it correctly. So it's not going to prevent, in any way prevent somebody. We just wanted to make sure that the salon owners actually paid attention to those issues so that it would be clear with all the paperwork they're receiving, they're going to have to initial those questions so that it's clear that they understand the law. We don't want to continue to have a problem and the whole issue being that there's just no understanding the law. We want this to be in front of folks, to be an acknowledgement that they understand it, and to send that back. And in no way, I don't want to, it's not going to hold up somebody's license, because if it's wrong, it just gets returned to them and they can fix it. It's like yes or no questions is what we anticipate. So that is the reasoning for it, and it was done in consultation with the salon owners. Senator Nguyen had a very large town hall meeting on the subject, or she's having it tonight. She's had numerous conversations with salon owners in her district in their native language. So we're trying to do this in a way that makes sense to everybody, and so I just want to explain that Q&A thing. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Members, this measure is due pass as amended to appropriations. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Salas.
Aye.
Salas, aye. Breaux.
Not voting.
Breaux not voting. Baker. Bloom. Campos.
Aye.
Campos, aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Daly.
Aye.
Daly, aye. Dodd.
Aye.
Dodd, aye. Eggman. Gatto. Gatto, aye. Gomez. Holden. Jones. Jones not voting. Mullen. Ting. Wood. Wood, aye.
All right, that measure's on call. It has 7 votes, 2 abstentions. We'll leave that on call for other members to add on. Okay, Ms. Gonzalez, let's move on to file item number 17, AB 2699.
Thank you. AB 2699. First, I'd like to accept the committee amendments, and I want to thank the committee staff for all the hard work that they've done on this bill. This came about because we just knew, quite frankly, that we, especially in areas where I represent, where there aren't as many homeowners, and those homeowners are almost always trying to do the right thing, and that's their biggest investment they have, that there's been an increased complaint about what they can do when they've kind of been sold a bag of goods on solar issues. And so we have tried to put together a bill and, again, simplified it through the committee staff that ensures that folks who are sold or leased solar are understanding what they're getting into and understanding the ramifications of signing on to a lease, a power purchase agreement, or a sale. Right now in California, there's little recourse for folks. In fact, many people don't know where or there is no real central place to call when they even have a complaint about something that they've been sold. What this bill will do is it'll really make the Department of Consumer Affairs, and in particular the Contractor State License Board, the place of oversight for residential rooftop solar energy providers. It will require that the CSLB develop a one-page fillable solar disclosure document that a solar company must provide to a potential consumer prior to the sale or lease of the system. The CSLB will handle all solar complaints and provide info to dissatisfied consumers. Currently, customers who have problems with their solar system are complaining to their utilities, to the CPUC, to the Office of Attorney General, to real estate industry and banking industry, when in fact they have nothing to do with their own rooftop solar. Solar is a great thing. In no way am I trying to stop people from putting solar on their rooftops. We just want to make sure that folks who invest and make this very large investment understand what they're getting into. We've had complaints in my district of folks who didn't understand that they couldn't refinance their house to send their child to college because they had leased a solar unit on their home. There are ramifications, sometimes simple, sometimes more complex, that people who are being really hard-sold in front of, basically hard-sold in front of Home Depot and in the mall, and they want to do the right thing. They want to, be responsible consumers of energy. They want to bring their energy bills down, and not a majority of the time, but in very tragic minority situations, they end up with a situation where they're not having savings, and in fact, it's costing them, and they're left with the inability to really sell or even refinance their home. We want to clear that up as much as possible. We also think that the solar market and consumer confidence, as they've grown, the oversight and disclosure have fallen behind. The CSLB shall also establish the regulations requirements for contractors to maintain blanket performance and payment bond for the purpose of solar installation. This is the issue that's giving heartache, I would say, to the solar industry, and one which we're willing to continue to work with them on. We started with the idea of an insurance fund that people could access if they've, especially if they've been if the promises have been unfulfilled by a solar provider. There was discussion from a lot of the larger solar providers that actually allows these kind of fly-by-night contractors to get away with what they're doing. So we went for a performance bond instead. There's now heartache about that. We're willing to continue to work with the solar industry to get the kind of provisions that are correct, so that when there are mistakes and problems, the homeowner has somewhere to go to ensure that they are compensated. So today, I respectfully ask for your aye vote, knowing that I am working on this if it gets out of here today, as it goes to judiciary and before it comes to appropriations.
Thank you. Testimony in support.
Mr. Chairman and members, I'm Stan Wigg with the California Association of Realtors. We have not taken a position on the new version of the bill that you've adopted today, but we've been working collaboratively with the author. We think that the disclosure is very important. We're working on a disclosure bill ourselves that has to do with so-called PACE funding, Property Assessed Clean Energy Assessments, and we wanted to reconcile the two, and we believe that she's going the right direction to do that.
Thank you. Additional testimony.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Members, Quentin Foster on behalf of the California Environmental Justice Alliance. We applaud the author for bringing this bill forward and are excited to see the expansion of solar in low-income communities, communities of color. Ensuring strong consumer protections will only strengthen the market for families desiring to participate in the green economy, and for these reasons, we support the bill and ask for your aye vote in committee today.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Ignacio Hernandez on behalf of the Utility Reform Network, or TURN, Consumer Protection Organization. We are in support of the author's bill. I want to thank the author for taking on this issue. We've been working with consumer advocates throughout the state and also throughout the country to come up with a model strategy for consumer protections. As consumer demand grows for this product, consumer protections have to grow with it and also match the industry. We have been receiving calls from consumers, oftentimes because they don't know who to call. And we have a consumer hotline, and we've been hearing stories that well-intentioned individuals. We just heard from a story from a gentleman, a senior on fixed income, who spent a lot of money on a solar system, and it turns out that not only was it malfunctioning, but also it was set up in a way that was not going to yield the best outcome, and it was placed based on the recommendation of the company itself. And so now he's trying to find a way to redo it without having to pay out of pocket. We're not saying solar is bad, obviously. We're saying it's a good thing, but we want to make sure that there are protections in place. National study that we worked on included as one of the key points of the strategy is to have very strong disclosures. Not the only protection, but a very key component of that protection. We think this bill goes in the right direction. It's a first step, and we look forward to continuing to work with the author as the bill goes forward.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Mario DiBernardo from the Northern California Power Agency. We're a joint powers authority that represents 14 publicly owned utilities and a rural electric cooperative. We're very supportive of this bill. The committee analysis did a great job explaining the benefits of solar, but also highlighting some of the complaints that our utilities get. And this takes a good step forward in protecting our ratepayers.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Matt Klopfenstein on behalf of the Sacramento Municipal Utility District. We're also in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support. Our tweeners.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. Will Gonzalez on behalf of CalSEA, the California Solar Energy Industry Association. We are in that strongly neutral position. I want to thank the author. They have been incredible to work with. I think the committee's done a good job in better focusing the bill. The industry has had and established a great partnership now with the Attorney General's Office, the Licensing Board, the Contractor State Licensing Board, and the PUC to work with on consumer complaints. So we feel we've got a good partnership in place. But I think this is an important bill. We want to continue to work with the author. A couple main issues. One, the author raised about the performance bond. That's generally something that applies to larger, far more expensive commercial projects, and we'd have to figure out if that's the right avenue to deal with smaller residential systems. And the other pieces, aside from the solar part of this business, there's a lot of complicated financial instruments involved here, and want to continue working with the author to ensure that the Contractor State Licensing Board is the appropriate place for those conversations to happen. But we appreciate the author's work, and for now we'll stay in our strongly neutral position. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, Alberto Tarico on behalf of Sunrun. Not to repeat the comments from Mr. Gonzalez, but we also are very appreciative of the chair and the committee staff's efforts and amendments, and more so the author's willingness to work with us, and will continue to do so. Also have concerns about the bonding, but understand the ultimate objective, which is to protect the consumer. We're 100% supportive of those efforts. Looking forward to working with you folks. Thank you.
Margaret Gladstein on behalf of Solar City, and in the interest of time, I'll just say me too and echo the comments of the two previous testifiers. We do appreciate all the work that the committee staff and the author and her staff have put in, and we want to continue that effort. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me ask testimony in opposition. Additional testimony, hearing and seeing none. Let me turn it to members on the dais. Mr. Bro.
Ms. Gonzalez, thank you so much for bringing this consumer protection bill forward. I do think it is needed. My concern is with the bond. I've heard stories about some of these bonds taking the place of the first and having it be in a position where it's difficult to sell a home. So I'm going to support moving it on to the next level. But as you continue your discussions, if you could look into that issue and make sure the bond is the best for the consumer as well.
Thank you. Additional questions from members on the dais? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez, for taking the committee amendments. We do see this as a disclosure providing information to customers, especially as it affects their choices in the future with their ability to make certain choices. So with that, this does have a do pass as amended recommendation. Let me go ahead and have the Secretary call the roll. Well, this is
Perfect.
double referred to judiciary.
Yes.
Salas.
Salas, aye.
Salas, aye. Bro. Bro, aye. Baker. Baker, aye. Bloom. Campos. Chavez. Chavez not voting. Daly. Dodd. Eggman. Eggman, aye. Gatto. Gatto, aye. Gomez. Holden. Jones. Jones, aye. Mullen. Ting. Wood. Wood, aye.
Okay, that measure's on call on a 7-0 vote. Look forward to continuing to work with you on this measure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I believe Ms. Olson, if you'd like to come forward, we have Ms. Olson will be presenting on file item number 15, AB 2632, and this has support on both sides.
Great. We'll be brief. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. We will be accepting the committee's suggested amendments. Last summer, the Bureau of Security Investigative Services announced the rules specifying that candidates applying to become licensed private investigators may no longer use work performed in investigative journalism to count toward the 6,000-hour minimum requirement to sit for the licensing exam. As a result, the Bureau has begun denying applications to those who have worked as investigative journalists but have not yet obtained a private investigator license. AB 2632 simply corrects this deficiency and ensures that the work performed by investigative journalists will count when they seek to become fully licensed. With me to discuss the merits of the bill and answer any technical questions is Francie Kohler, Government Affairs Chair for the California Association of Licensed Investigators.
Please, testimony and support, and the bill's been moved by Ms. Baker. Please proceed.
Chairman Salas and committee. I'm past president of the California Association of Licensed Investigators. I am its current government affairs director. Our association is strongly in support as the sponsors of this bill to license investigative reporters who are employees of bona fide news agencies who have been supervised by an editor and qualify for the 6,000 hours required for licensing.
Okay, thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Jerry Desmond on behalf of Cali, just to answer any questions as the sponsor of the bill. Thank you.
Testimony in opposition. Hearing and seeing none, let me turn it to members on the dais for questions. Hearing and seeing none, I know there is a motion by Ms. Baker. Is there a second? There's a second by Mr. Bro. Thank you for accepting the committee amendments. I believe you said that in your opening. And this bill is referred to after this committee to appropriations. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Salas.
Aye.
Salas, aye. Bro.
Aye.
Bro, aye. Baker.
Aye.
Baker, aye. Bloom. Campos. Chavez.
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Daly. Dodd. Eggman. Aye. Eggman, aye. Gatto. Aye. Gatto, aye. Gomez. Holden. Jones.
Aye.
Jones, aye. Mullen. Ting. Wood.
7-0.
Okay, that measure's on call on a 7-0 vote.
Thank you.
Ms. Olson. Let's proceed with Mr. Bonta. Mr. Bonta will be presenting on file item number 3, AB 1806. Well, actually, two items. File item number 1, AB 1575, and file item number 3, AB 1807. Mr. Bonta, which would you like to begin with?